Welcome to Stitches in Time, the podcast discussing Doctor Who the way it was meant to be watched, in chronological order, one clip at a time, starting at the Big Bang and ending with the heat death of the universe. I'm Becca, the Matrix Archivist, and I spent the last 13 years of my life meticulously editing the entire televised Doctor Who universe into chronological order.
I'm Mandy, and Becca, I know that this is our 1-year anniversary, and I have a little bit of a confession for our 1 year, and I'm very sorry, particularly with how monumental it is for this anniversary. But I am actually not prepared for this episode, and I'm really sorry. I did my best, but it's not really my fault. The Egyptology book was checked out of the library, so I
Oh.
wasn't able to do my proper research. I was able to get mermaidology, but I don't know if that will really correlate.
I mean, let's put it to use and we'll find out, I guess.
Mandy, what do
Okay.
you know about monks? Because that might also be more
Oh,
relevant
yeah.
too. What about Yellowface?
I know that they're not mermaids. I know that they're not mermaids because mermaids aren't real.
And because Catholic has weird rules against women being in the clergy, so they probably wouldn't allow women to be monks. I guess there's mermen, but
that sounds fake.
It was specifically a mermaidology book, so
okay, so
they didn't really go into
Fair.
that.
Fair.
You have to get that's like DLC.
Honestly, I think there should be more books that just exclude men from their research. I don't understand why we keep making co-ed research books.
I also, speaking of research, I think that Becca researched this episode by watching Assassin's Creed, either Origins or maybe Mirage, because it's playing behind her on a screen, and it's very weird to me to have like video game cutscenes happening behind the person I'm talking to. Like, are you preparing for being at your birthday party tonight and looking for TV screens showing video games while we're hanging out?
I guess generally I just try and have something thematic behind me, but honestly, if Assassin's Creed Origins is too distracting...
No, it's fine. I was just like, why is Assassin's Creed Origins on behind you?
It's because it's ancient Egypt. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have Yu-Gi-Oh behind me.
Mm-hmm. Because it's ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
And Riley, you have Doctor Who behind you.
Because it's ancient Egypt.
Which isn't thematically relevant, and you should
No. And it's also not the right TARDIS, and it's just what I happened to already have on when I came in, so...
That checks out.
It's a bad
I mean, it's
sign.
12th Doctor's TARDIS, which is relevant to me, but...
Yeah. Now I guess I'll introduce you, Riley.
Oh, yeah. How about that?
Also joining us today is Doctor Who writer and other things, I guess, but like those things don't really matter as much as Doctor Who writer Riley Silverman.
Hello. Yes. Wow. I think that's the first time I've been on a show where I've been able to be like, I know I've had one more, but yeah, this is the first one since the episodes came out, so I can say that
nice.
now. Yeah.
Amazing. Yes, you wrote... Can you tell us about your episode? Because I'm not going to be able to do it justice.
It's called the 803rd Interstellar Song. No, it's an audio book for Big Finish. It's part of their Tales from the Vortex series or box set. I guess box set's a weird term because it was all digital, but it's an episode called Dark Watchers of California, and it is set in the Big Sur region of California in 1966. And it features the 12th Doctor and his companion, Bill Potts. So that's why my 12th Doctor TARDIS is relative. And thematic? Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Relevant is the word I was looking for. I said relative, but I meant relevant. Time and relevant dimensions in space.
It is. It's clear that you, because you have been a guest of the show previously, you are aware of the Stitches in Time setup because you very clearly designated a time to your story, which makes it very convenient for Becca.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, because it is audio, Becca will never include it because if she does, she will go insane because she will need to include all of it.
I'm sorry. I'm going to include it when Riley works her way up to become the showrunner of Doctor Who, and is like, you know what, this old story I wrote when I was first starting out as an official Doctor Who writer, maybe I'll make this into a full episode with whoever the current
Let's
Doctor
this
is.
shit.
I can't think of any job that I would want less than being the showrunner of a show, because like I love Doctor Who. I can't imagine dealing with the level, like I already get enough hate on social media just being an out trans woman in the world. I cannot imagine how much worse it would be to be on social media as Russell T Davies, or like I'm good. I'm okay with it. I'm also not British, so I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm not okay with not being British, except for in the last few months, I'm more okay with than I was previously this year. But yeah, I'm more than happy to continue writing Big Finish audios and maybe some comics or some books and steer clear of the actual TV show.
Steer clear of the actual.
I ran 2 seasons of Doctor Who for Game of Rassilon. I feel like I got my Doctor Who showrunner boots shaken enough, and I'm good. I don't think it's a phrase. My boots shaken. Let's turn that in. I got my boots shaken.
I think we're coining it. This is this season. This is the second year of Stitches in Time is all about coining phrases. Sluts.
Yeah. As opposed to the first season, which had an entire subplot about the toothy vagina at the center of the universe. Yeah, we never thought. You guys never thought of phrases or coining anything in the first season.
Well, we didn't coin that. The show coined that.
That's true. That's a very good point. You're right.
I didn't. I was just reading the text as it was presented to me.
That's right. You're right. I apologize. Obviously, the good writers of Doctor Who invented the castration vulva. I don't know why I credited Mandy for that.
Media literacy is very important in this day and age.
That's good. That's a good point. Thank you for reminding me of that.
And of course, we are discussing the Daleks Master Plan today, but just the bit that takes place in ancient Egypt. And we're in 4000 BC, which I suspect means that soon we will be out of the 4000s BC, because we've been in those forever.
It's definitely interesting to be in a time period that could be someone's like elementary school special interest. That's a fun place to get into. This is also my first slideshow episode.
Oh yeah.
That's right. Yes. One of these 2 episodes is not here. This is, of course, we're talking about, this is the Hartnell era, so of course we've got individual episode titles. So diehard fans will know this as Golden Death and Escape Switch. Escape Switch.
Is this where the doctor goes and does the stuff with the guy?
Oh no, the Daleks are coming.
That's quite impressive, isn't it? Well, as the pyramids are the 7th wonder of this ancient world, I should say the word impressive is rather an understatement.
The funny thing about this too, it's a recreation with slides, which is I watched years ago the entire Daleks Master Plan, and I think a good 70% or more of this arc is done like that. A lot of it's missing. And it's the longest arc of classic Doctor Who. It even beats out the War Games by a good episode. And there's a bit of a debate because there might be a third. There's Mission to Nowhere, which is not sort of Doctor
Mission
Who,
to the Unknown.
Yeah, which is kind of a attempt to launch a spin-off series, but does that count or not? So it's it's either 12 or 13 episodes, right? Depending on how you shake it.
Yeah.
Down.
Well, so. I know this weird thing about Mission to the Unknown. Mission to the Unknown only exists because of Planet of Giants, which is the episode where they get shrunken down.
Yeah.
Well, and
spoilers.
Oh yeah, sorry, spoilers for when we get to the 60s.
Yeah, quite a ways to go.
Yeah, but so what happened was they cut that episode down from 4 episodes to 3 episodes. But then they had this problem of the cast has fulfilled their number of episodes that they're contractually obligated to make, but we at the BBC have not fulfilled the number of episodes that we're contractually obligated to release. So they had to make one episode that didn't feature the Doctor or any of the companions, and that was Mission to the Unknown, which is basically a prequel to the 12-part Daleks Master Plan.
But wasn't it also Terry Nation wanted to do like a Dalek spin-off series, and it was going to be like about like the Space Corps or whatever they're called.
That might have also been true. Yeah.
Yeah. So Terry was really trying hard to make a Daleks like space soldiers fighting Daleks, like a spin-off series.
Yeah, I feel like he's been trying to do that like a bunch since too.
Well,
like,
I think he's dead now, so I don't think he's trying very hard anymore.
I'm not
But
saying Terry Nation in 2024 was like, you know what we should do?
It was like a big goal of his, yeah.
Yeah.
Becca just goes into her bathroom and just sees like the fog in the mirror just written in like Dalek spin-off. Terry Nation is haunting Becca specifically.
Well, I know that like for the first several years of modern Doctor Who, like every time they wanted to use the Daleks, like like every season they had to like renegotiate with Terry Nation's estate to like get the permission to. That's why they don't always appear sometimes, because of like weird, because like technically Terry Nation's estate owned. I think they finally like settled that to now it's like fine, but there was like a while. There's a lot of classic Who monsters and creatures that are technically owned by the writer who wrote the episode. That's also why there's the issues with the son of the guy who wrote the first episode, Unearthly Child, like why they can't put that as part of the Whoniverse in the UK, because the guy's son is like a total like job, like he was like just a jerk, and like he like there was a whole bit of drama last year on the interwebs when he was like fighting the BBC, and he was like saying they killed his father and stuff like that, so it was a whole wild thing.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but I like that this episode it's an idea by Terry. It's not even like a story by. It's like Terry Nason's like, hey, what if there was Daleks in Egypt? And they go write that. Go tell your stories. And then they like wrote it down. But I still get a credit because it's my Daleks. But
yeah, I can't. Is that just like the way they used to do like story by in the 60s? Was just calling it an idea? Like it just seems so much less important.
Yeah, it makes it sound so like go write those words down for me. You there, boy. Go to the shop and buy the biggest pen in the shop. But yeah, I years ago I did a now non-existent podcast for Doctor Who that was we were watching our way through all of Classic Who, and when we got this episode, like my co-host would not watch the recreations, and it was like such a long. It was like. Back then it was extremely hard to find them too. Like you had to go on like there was like one like pirate site that I could go to that I could like find them on. So what we did for Daleks Master Plan, because I was like, this is one we would skip over most of the ones that were lost for that reason, but I was like, this one feels really important to the history of the show, so I feel like we can't really skip over it. So what we did for this podcast was I watched the entirety of Dalek Master Plan almost like in one sitting, and then I went on the podcast, and our episode was just me trying to remember everything that I had seen and read in the episode, based and tell my co-host what had happened in the arc, like, and then this is going on, and then this is going on, this guy's happening, and this, because it's a weird arc, because it's not unlike the later Trial of the Time Lords, where it is one large arc, but then there's also like individual like shorter arcs that are happening within it. Like there's this section here, and there's also like is it this one or the Chase where they meet like Frankenstein and Dracula in a that's the Chase. That's the Chase. Okay. But this is the one that has the Feast of Stephen, where the Doctor breaks the fourth wall and wishes everyone a happy Christmas to those folks at home. Yeah.
Episode 7 of this is just a wacky Christmas special. It takes place in the 1920s. And then like you've got Nicholas Courtney as Brett Vian. And he's
that's right.
Yeah, he's like stranded on this planet, and like Daleks are closing in on him, and then it's there's a lot of just like little things, but it's all kind of tied together with this like what you might call like the Daleks Master Plan, which is they are building this big old weapon, and the only thing they need to make it work is the Terranium Core.
Yeah.
I think it's this story that is being referenced when in Stolen Earth, when David Tennant's at the Shadow Proclamation and he's like, someone tried to move the Earth once before. I think it is in reference to this episode, but like I don't know the rest of this episode well enough that I can be like, Yeah, but I think that's true.
Yeah, I can't remember what Mavic Gen. It's been like 8 or 9 years since I did that big watch through, so I don't remember the exact details of the overall thing, but I remember it was something like that. I remember when I watched it the first time, I was very confused every time they kept saying the solar system, because I was like, which solar system? And then I realized, oh, because the sun is Sol, and so like it's like saying like that's
Right.
how they refer specifically to our I was like, which solar? Like, why are they just calling it the solar system the whole time? And it's like,
Right.
oh, it's like Sol, capital S. Like, it's very confusing.
Yeah, the solar system being like what? Aren't there a lot of? Because we're talking about multiple galaxies. No,
Yeah.
there's only one called Sol, though.
Yeah. So like, I was like, wait, so he's only trying to like help them conquer our our star system, basically, like our 9 planet. It's like, it's very, yeah. I think it's just very much like a 60s thing of like, I don't know, what's like a big place in
a space thing. Just
yeah,
a
the
space
solar
thing.
system. Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah, like, I don't know if in this setting, like obviously like the idea is we're beyond our solar system at this point because of like the space corps and stuff like that. So like obviously, but it makes it feel like that's all there is to it. Like it's just these 9 planets and that's all we've done. And yeah, it's very confusing.
I will say from the bits of the Daleks that I got in these 2 episodes, I couldn't really tell what their master plan was. I could tell that they had maybe gotten a little lost in their planning meetings. I don't know who their Dalek project manager is, but it seemed like there were just a lot of people yelling about how they weren't on track on their deadlines, and there was like they were having a lot of meetings about meetings, which I've been in those, but it's nice to have a relatable corporate experience via Daleks.
For sure.
I love the moment when the dog's like,
the voice audio has been adjusted. What is its present range? 7 Earth miles.
oh, we've upgraded our sound system so you can hear us from miles away. And I'm like, oh, you mean the Daleks? God, no one can hear the Daleks. Like, they're already the loudest monsters in the world in this era of the show.
Yeah, I feel like the Daleks I feel like the Daleks being so loud, and then like monsters like the Ice Warriors or like 1,000 other old Doctor Who creatures are just like, we're whispering. It's just like, we're trying to just balance out the Daleks here.
Yeah. Every Doctor Who monster this era is like, it has to be inaudible or slow, or it's the worst.
Yeah.
I feel like it has to be like someone was very specific in like, oh, for the Daleks, make sure that they have like they have that mic, they have the recording, and everybody else, they're gonna put a big muffly suit on you.
Yes.
Like, just talk normal on it.
Yeah.
Just talk normal. We don't need a mic. We don't need to redub you. We don't need to put a mic on you. Just go for it.
We're not
Why
going to
are
retake
you
any
so
of your
quiet?
lines.
Yeah, we're just gonna do this all in one take.
Yeah.
We just have a boom mic.
At the time, they had not learned how ADR worked, and now Modern Who doesn't know how to stop using ADR.
Yeah, I'm frankly all the like Unleashed episodes and all that. I'm just like, why is there even a boom person on set? Come on, what's going on there?
Yeah, it's not quite Madam Web levels of ADRing the story into place,
my
but it's
God.
not far off from that either, which is very funny.
Madam Web that ADR was hilarious.
And
Now I have this fan theory right now that is relevant to your Zoom background, Riley, because the monk shows up in sunglasses, and I'm like, are they Sonic? I wonder.
Okay, so I wanna ask about the monk. Am I supposed to know who the fuck this guy is? Because this is my first time seeing this guy.
The BBC cut would have shown you who this guy is already, but
Mandy,
the actual chronological doesn't.
We've actually we haven't seen him yet, but we've seen people talk about him.
Okay. He's lived in infamy before this.
Yeah. We saw a couple of old people on a remembered TARDIS discussing this guy. So now that now this is finally the big payoff of that of that Tales of the TARDIS episode.
Yeah. And then you'll actually get to the episode, the thing that we're remembering. You'll get to that when you get to like I think it's like Dark Ages. Is that?
Yeah,
is
it's
that one?
1066. I want to say.
Oh yeah, I think actually was actively around the invasion. Yeah,
that was like the Norman invasion.
Seeing just a little bit of this guy, the vibe that I got is specifically what people on Tumblr write fanfic as the master being of just a silly little guy doing shenanigans.
Yeah, that's kind of what he is. Like he's
And it's
kind of a proto-master.
Just being a little bit of a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we used him as a character on Game of Rassilon, Michael played him, and Michael had him change his name from the monk to the fool, and that was kind of his thing. Was he was like a bumbling like a fool, and like that was the idea behind it. Yeah, he's very proto-master. I think it's interesting too that this is like before the show had thought of the term Time Lord, and so they just keep referring to them as time travelers. And like before they had started referring to all the machines as TARDISes, I think. So I think they just have like the monk's machine, the monk's time machine. Like I don't know if they call it the monk's TARDIS. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed. Maybe I did.
Because I remember I believe it's an Unearthly Child. Susan says, I made up the word TARDIS based on the initials time and relative dimensions in space.
Yeah, but then it slowly became all Time Lords called their things TARDIS. Sorry, Mandy.
Right.
And it was like a thing where, because like the doctor wants to do a little shenanigan with the monk's machine.
I changed the monk's TARDIS into a police telephone box.
Like yours?
Yes, exactly like mine.
I really enjoyed the little silliness of that. I was a little disappointed because I was hoping that he would do the same thing that was in an episode of Lupin the Third when they had a time traveler, which is when they just broke into the machine with a hammer and no more time machine if you smash with hammer. I was really hoping he just smashed with hammer.
I feel like every time the monk shows up, William Hartnell always like defeats him with like the perfect poetic irony of just like, oh no, I'm gonna be the monk to the monk. Like I'm gonna just be a little like I'm not trying to destroy him because he's not really trying to destroy me. It's just like, oh, I just want to be a little mischievous.
Yeah, which is that is the bit of I feel like, and it's a like I don't mean to disparage Tumblr people. This is specifically a way that I know, like, fan of where you interact with the characters. Like, you don't actually want to have, like, serious repercussions of things. You just want to have silly shenanigans. So you don't want anything that's going to, like, actively do harm. So it's just people doing bits at each other. And that really feels like what the monk is doing of, like, I'm just doing a bit at you. And then the doctor does a bit back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there was like a long time there was like debate about whether or not the monk was actually just the master and like they hadn't given him a full name yet. But I think they have officially like made them two separate Time Lords. I think that is, or at least I think Big Finish has done like master and monk as two separate Time Lords. But I think because we don't really get another, we also get another antagonistic Time Lord coming up with the War Games, which is a ways off for y'all, like probably like 5,000 years. But I think that there's like the implication that the War Master in the Warlord in the War Games is also possibly like a proto master, but then they don't really get the master until we get to Pertwee era. But
I think that the idea that the war, I can't remember if it's the War Chief or the Warlord because those are two different guys and only one of them's a Time Lord.
Yeah,
I think it's the
and then like they
Warlord
also the villains are called the Warlords, so it's like really confusing.
Right. Yeah. But I think the Warlord, like maybe being the master, gained like that fan theory gained some more traction when the colorized War Games came out at the end of last year because they put the music cue that they used, I think, when like Derek Jacobi regenerated into John Sim.
Yeah. Okay, I looked it up. The Warlords are the name of the villains, and then the War Chief is the one that is the Time Lord.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. I've heard that theory that he's a master, proto-master, like before, but that makes sense that now they're like, let's just lean into that.
Watching this, I am a little concerned. I think the monk also feels like he is in the master's position. I really feel like the monk thinks that he and the doctor are best friends. and it's I'm a little sad that the doctor's like, no, I actually have a thing with somebody else. You're
Yeah.
just a different guy. I know that you were here first, but I just like really connected with this other one a lot more. So like the monk's just gonna find out that they went for drinks and just wasn't invited at all. Like I feel really bad.
The doctor is the monk's best friend, but the monk is not the doctor's best friend.
I like the idea of this, like the war chief and the monk both kind of having this thing of like, oh, the doctor won't let any more nemesises on. This is really frustrating. And like, it's just the doctor and the master. And then they show up one day and the Ronnie's there and they're like, God damn it. How did she get let in? Yeah, I looked up on the TARDIS wiki, both the war chief and the monk are listed under incarnations of the master under ambiguous. Like there's there's like possible, like there's like 4 other characters that are considered they might potentially be versions of the master, but that's one of them is monk, war chief.
See,
I don't know.
I don't like that because like I feel like it's the Tatooine problem of like, it starts out Luke Skywalker's from this like nowhere planet and suddenly it's like the center of everything that ever happens. Is like, oh yeah, no. There are other Time Lords at some point, but the only ones they're all the master or the doctor somehow.
There are actually just 2 Time Lords, and it's just a long regeneration process. You are either a doctor or a master or just waiting to get there.
Yeah, I will say, as the author of Exploring Tatooine, the Star Wars illustrated guide, I think that Star Wars Tatooine works for me in that like it almost stands in for like Luke as like, yes, it is a boring nowhere nothing planet, and the fact that it becomes really important to what's happened in the galaxy is like a metaphor for anybody from nowhere can become like the thing that like, so that's how I managed to rectify that aspect of it as well, of like, and like I always say, like, people go, why do they always, I know this is not a Star Wars podcast, but I did write a book about Tatooine, so I feel like I have to defend Tatooine.
Yeah, of course.
I feel like people go, oh, why do they always go back to Tatooine? And I'm like, well, because story follows story. So if you have a character start on Tatooine and having him go back to Tatooine makes a lot of sense. Also, if Boba Fett falls into a pit monster mouth on Tatooine and you're going to pick up from his story, he's going to pick up in the pit monster mouth on Tatooine. I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's just where it's at. Yeah. Like, that's it. Like, hey, yes, Darth Vader's family is on Tatooine because in the first movie, the Luke's family's on Tatooine. Like, I'm sorry, we have to go back there to make this make sense.
Why do they go back to Tatooine? Because desert, real cheap set.
Yes, that's
real
also
cheap
very
set.
true.
The desert.
We can go film in Tunisia and it costs us pennies, and we can say it's a foreign country, it's an alien planet. It's great. Yeah. It's easy for us. We don't have to build shit. Also, I will say, what I love this new companion, Sara Kingdom. I think she's got legs. I look forward to seeing her long, illustrious future on Doctor Who. I'm so glad they have this really cool, strong female character, and I'm really excited to see what happens. I watch her career with great interest.
Well, now it is a Star Wars podcast. Yeah, speaking of shooting things in desert for basically $0. So the other thing about the monk that this was just tonally insane to me is at the beginning of this clip, a bunch of ancient Egyptians are running around. They're kind of like ancillary to the story, but like they like come upon the Daleks and they're just like, oh, what are these people? What are these monsters doing in our whatever? And they attack them, and they all get slaughtered. The Daleks obviously just like obliterate like 10 guys on screen, and then it immediately cuts to the monk like sneaking around and playing the like jaunty woodwind like sneaking around monk music. Just like, this is just a dozen people just died. What the fuck is happening?
Yeah, this episode's so this whole arc is wild. The Daleks Master Plan is like so disjointed and wild. It's all stuff like that. It's all like big villainous horrible things and also like goofy scheming villains happening. Like it's I wish it makes me sad most of this is missing because it is such a ridiculous plot. Like it feels like such a 1960s weird villain story, and it just goes on and it's guys sitting around in rooms like with giant maps in the background talking about world domination and like chewing scenery, and then like goofy little guys running around and just being wild. And then like this particular like set of episodes, because I feel like so much of classic Doctor Who is always like usually like they go somewhere, whether it's history or another planet, and there's always like a primitive tribe of people who are having an internal conflict, and there's like a good side and a bad side, or it's like, yes, there's an evil alien that is oppressing this group of people, so it's like going to Skaro and you've got the Thals and you've got the Daleks, and like this one it's the exact same thing. It's like, oh, we have the ancient Egyptians and we have Mavic Chen and the Daleks and we have this. It's like such a wild thing.
That's so good.
I'm looking up. Apparently, Jean Marsh, who plays Teri Kingdom, plays multiple other Doctor Who characters. She was already been on the show prior to this in the Crusades.
Oh wow!
Which you not yet, obviously for you, but
sure, yeah,
she'll be in the Crusades coming up. And then she also she's in Battlefield. She plays Morgaine in Battlefield.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I did not realize that was her.
Yeah.
She died recently. Like she died a couple weeks ago or something, didn't she?
Yeah, April 13th.
Wow.
I think I remember that. I think maybe it's why her name sticks out for me.
Yeah.
All right, she was in Willow. Okay. That's why she's familiar. I was like, I know this name. Like, where do I know Jean Marsh from besides Doctor Who stuff? And yeah, apparently she was in Willow. She was the evil queen in Willow.
Oh wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that she's like not unlike Nicholas Courtney, just making a lot of appearances in Doctor Who. Before, I think I don't want to spoil things with Sara Kingdom, but I think that they intended her to be an ongoing companion, and she was like, I don't want to do that, so let's not have that happen. Yeah, This is the arc where this like overall plot is like where two separate companions die. Like Katarina died earlier in the stories, and then Sara Kingdom, bad news. It'll probably be like a decade before you get to the episodes where she dies, because I think it's like in the future. So, but
I think that's 4000 AD is when like the rest of this story takes place.
So you have 8,000.
Well, everyone, by all rights, everyone should be dead by 4000 AD.
Yeah, except for Lady Me.
I assume she died of old age.
Kinda, yeah, actually, but it's not the way you think. Like that is, yes, she does die from aging too fast.
Like,
yes.
oh, you're telling me a person that I last saw in 4000 BC, when I get to 4000 AD, they're dead? That's normally how that works.
Yes, but normally they're not in a time machine. She is from the future.
What is the Earth if not a really slow time machine?
You know what? Fair enough. You're right. I stand corrected. But she literally does die of old age. But
oh my goodness.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought this was the episode, but I think I'm wrong. This is not the storyline where the Doctor briefly fixes the chameleon circuit of his own TARDIS, right? It's just the one that's changing is only the monks.
Yeah, it's just the monks.
Yeah.
I can't remember what story that is.
Yeah, there's like one brief one where he fixes it, and then it's like, nah, I'm good. It would have been kind of funny if this is where they fixed it, and then at the end there's this whole thing of like, oh, I can use the monk's core in my TARDIS, but it's more powerful and it might blow out my TARDIS. Like, it might have been funny if like that's what blew out the chameleon circuit. Like, hey, it worked, but the thing I fixed is not working again.
Oh. That'd be funny. I feel like that happens didn't like Colin Baker at some point? I feel like there might be a Colin Baker.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm mixing up this with that because of the seeing the
chameleon circuit nonsense. Yeah.
Because like, and I like that like of the things that takes shape of, one of them is like a motorcycle. It's like, how would you get into the motorcycle TARDIS? Like, do you just straddle it and then you're inside the TARDIS? Because I've had nights like that, but it's not the way that
it just feels a lot roomier than it actually appears to be.
Yeah, there's a sidecar, and you're like, yeah, it's actually there's a lot of leg room over here.
There's a sidecar, but it's just a ladder that you just go down.
I do kind of like that, actually. Okay, so because we have to tie everything into Doctor Who, so is the motorcycle that Matt Smith rides in Day of the Doctor, is that actually the Meddling Monk's TARDIS? That if you put that TARDIS inside his TARDIS...
Yeah, the Meddling Monk is just trapped inside that motorcycle.
Yeah.
Anytime we see a motorcycle on screen, that's going to be it.
I do think it's funny that like they haven't ever thought to bring him back. I don't know if it's another like the writer owns the character, but like you've got this guy who the way he defeats him is basically it'll take him a long way to fix this thing and come back and find me, and then they just never show him again. Like I'm surprised that Modern Who hasn't had this like Meddling Monk who took the long way around and is like
yeah.
He's regenerated like multiple times from old age and like moved through.
Yeah.
So how much Big Finish audio was there? Just adventures of this guy trying to fix this thing and going on wacky evil shenanigans.
That definitely exists. There are definitely Meddling Monk Big Finish things, but I'm sure Michael Nixon would have had a lot of thoughts about those if he was the guest this week. So. But he's not. Sorry, Michael.
Yeah,
but you're nice, and I'm happy for him. You shaved, which is interesting. Anyway.
Oh. I haven't seen him in a while. He's coming up. He'll be back soon.
He just posted it on his Instagram last night. That's the reason why I know. He went to a baseball game and he shaved. Anyway.
Oh. This doesn't really, like, go anywhere, but I do like the end where the Egyptians defeat the Daleks by just, like, putting rocks around them.
Yes.
There's like, let's just put rocks at the base. Like it's the fucking cask of Amontillado or something. And just be like, you're stuck there now. Neener, neener, neener.
I do love how much more like bumbling and silly the Daleks were back in this time period. Like this is like, and like they're so subservient to each other too. Like when one gives orders, the other one's like, I obey. And I feel like nowadays that they would all be like, do you think he is not following properly? And they'd be like in the what's the Dogs of Manhattan? We're like, hey, tell me your just between us. What do you think of our leader? But they're like yelling it. What do you think of the leader? I think he is doing a bad job.
I think we should do something about this.
Are you two plotting against me? No.
Do you think he can hear me? I'm trying to use my inside voices.
The classy thing would be to not listen in when other people are talking and you're not part of the conversation. Just because you were in the room does not mean you have a right to this information. Why don't you take a break?
This is an A-B conversation, so why don't you see your way out of here?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, bitchy Daleks. I love this.
I love bitchy Daleks so much. I still love I think it's during Doomsday or not Doomsday, the one before the season
Army
2.
Ghosts.
When it's the Daleks and the Cybermen like trash talking each other, like this is obvious. Like that's like great. Daleks have no form of subtlety. This is obvious.
You are superior in only one respect. What is that? You are better at dying. So good.
So good.
The only other thing I had written down about this episode is, all right, I know like Mavic Chen is terrible Yellowface and all that, and we've seen Yellowface in Doctor Who before, and we will again, unfortunately. But I want to talk about his shirt, because it looks like he's just got like 6 dog nipples on his shirt. And I'm like, this is a fashion choice that's just a bad idea. Badly done. I saw it and then I couldn't unsee it. It was just one of those things.
Isn't that just the origin of the double-breasted coat of, I would like to wear something that looks like I have many nipples?
It may be. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
It just feels like it's like a weird like mid. It feels like I was on my way to Ren Fair, and then I decided to work with these monsters to conquer the entire galaxy, the entire solar system. Yeah. It's very like medieval tabard. Like
yeah,
I think they've tried to like we mentioned the yellow face. They've tried to like step around the yellow face. Like I've seen like depictions of this character since then where they've made him blue. So they're like, oh no, he's not a caricature of an Asian man. He's an alien who's blue, being played by a white guy doing a caricature of an Asian man. Like it's such a weird
like that's not. I don't. Is that better or is that just racism with more steps?
It's that. It's that.
Yeah,
it's definitely that. Yeah, I mean like. I like how much of early Doctor Who is centered around like, oh, we need this missing part, or we need this fluid, or we need this one thing to make the chart. Like oh,
right.
And it's also almost always a Dalek story, which is interesting. Of like, oh, I need a fluid link. Oh, I need this. Yeah, I need the terrain.
How do we justify interacting with the Daleks more? Like, yeah, and this is just a brief 42-minute thing of. Oh, yeah, we're just, like, kind of on the run from the Daleks. But then the Daleks get their Terranium core back at the end.
Yeah, it definitely feels like they had half an idea for an ancient Egypt story, and they didn't, like, have it fully formed. They're like, let's just throw that in the middle of this one. Like, where can they be at? We'll just throw some Egyptians, and we'll do that, and that'll be fine. Because this one definitely, like, this plot, like, jumps around through quite a bit of... Like, there's, like, a 1960s thing, there's a 1920s thing, there's, like...
The things, historically, that they go to versus they don't go to is always... It's always not what I would have expected that we would be spending some time in Egypt. That seems like a go-to of things that you're going to do if you do a time travel show. And the amount of time that you've been running, like, yeah, you're going to do one, but you're going to do one per era. So I would have expected that at the time there was like, oh yeah, we got another Egypt story, and let's go back to Egypt. Apparently not.
I think part of that is around this time and like leading into when Troughton takes over, they kind of abandon historicals for like quite a long time because the crew always found them more boring than doing like sci-fi, like futuristic stuff. So like originally the idea of the show was like it was educational, so we're gonna have historicals and we're gonna have futuristic space travel stuff, and then they were kind of like we find the historicals boring, so let's stop doing those. And so that might be part of it, is like they would have done it way more of it if they were continuing to do it, but now they're like, nah, we're moving on from it.
Riley, this is the first time we've seen a human civilization since the last time you were on to talk about cavemen.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Which is so funny because both cultures are really obsessed with where the sun is in the sky and how that affects their decision making. Because there is like a lot of like the sun is up there, and I was kind of like going like, oh, orb is back.
Yeah, so it's nice to see that the human race is maybe not as far along as we'd want them to be by now, but
I mean, we're not in our current timeline either. So
true. Oof. Political. Yeah, but I thought that was interesting that it just kind of worked out like, oh, Riley's here for all of our human beings episodes.
A relative human expert. She spent time around humans. She's the Jane Goodall of humans.
I don't really have much else for this episode, even though it's
long. It's a longer clip than you usually have, but there's nothing really happening in it that's like not typical for most.
It is. I mean, it's long, but half of it is a slideshow, and a third of it is the same frame of William Hartnell just smiling, and one time he is wearing a hat.
Yeah.
Someone was really proud of, we have just edited a bunch of these little bits so that he's wearing a hat, because it's very important in the context of the episode to know that he put on a hat and is walking around with a hat.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who spent a lot of time recreating these old episodes, and like there's some that are like this where it's like a slideshow and it's like little, and then part of the problem is because we're watching it on the Stitches thing, like your description is blocking all the things that are telling you what's happening on screen. But there's also some that are like, I think there was like maybe like audiobook type versions or like radio play versions of episodes of Doctor Who.
Yeah, were like, they had some where like they would have somebody, doing kind of a linking narration, I think, or something like that.
Because there's one where I definitely hear Fraser Hines. I think it's the Yetis, maybe, when I watch the recreation of that one, about the Abominable Snowmen. I think I hear Fraser Hines describing like visuals. So I'm like, oh, did they maybe like re-edit some of these for radio or something, and that's why they're doing it that way? But it was very weird. But yeah, then there's like now they're trying to like animate through a bunch of these, and I'm surprised they haven't gotten to this one yet to animate it. But
yeah, I would love to see an animation of this, but like. Yeah, it's 12 parts, and I think only like 3 or 4 of them exist.
Yeah.
So like it's a bigger
it's a pretty big task. They would probably have to like do the colorized Daleks or the War Games thing and like really condense it down into like a shorter thing, which
that might be it, yeah.
But yeah, it's 2 episodes that we did for this, but one is missing, and ultimately all that's really happening is a monk is meddling, and the monk is so Loki in this thing too, where like every time it's like, oh no, I'm not tricking them, I'm not tricking you, I'm tricking them by making them think that I tricked you, and it's like there's like never
and he just keeps adding layers onto it, and then then he goes to the Daleks and like, oh no, I was tricking them into thinking that I was being tricked into you, but I'm really tricking them.
Yeah. And like, what's so funny is that keeps happening, but then like Steven's like, can we trust this monk? And it's like, no, you literally cannot.
No, actually, it'd be a bad idea.
I just saved your lives. Oh, from the trap that you got us caught in? Thank you.
What a guy.
What a scamp. He really is. He's the Bugs Bunny of Doctor Who.
What's up, Doctor?
But yeah, I think I've said I could continue talking about Doctor Who all day because I love Doctor Who, but I probably said all there is about the Daleks Master Plan.
That is actually one of the reasons that we like having you on, though. It's because you like talking about Doctor
It would be hard if I was like, oh, God, I hate this show. my script is just, I don't know, some bullshit happens and this guy shows up again. He's just an asshole. Yeah, I should prove this.
The TARDIS materializes. A guy steps out and says, "Oh, look at me! I'm the 12th Doctor. I'm so serious and angry all the time."
Hey, Becca, can you not tell people what happens in my story?
Sorry. Spoilers for Dark Watchers of California.
Yeah, for real.
Mandy, do you have any other thoughts about ancient Egypt or anything at all?
I'm sure I would have if I had gotten my hands on that Egyptology book. But as it is,
that's fair.
Mermaids, they have scales and fish bottoms, and I need to again make it clear it's not real. They say that page 1 mermaidology, not real. They're not there. Don't go in that water. If you hear someone singing in the ocean, that is somebody with a boombox.
Do you remember when I think it was Discovery Channel did that special that was like aquatic ape theory, and it was like, oh, they found a body and it was a mermaid, and here's like, it was like very much presented.
Yeah, they did a full like fake documentary about like, oh, we found mermaids, but they did not like, they had it in like the very beginning of it. They were like, hey, this is a fake documentary, but then they just never said it the rest of the way through. Yeah. So if you came in, and it was like a 3-hour documentary, and if you come into the middle of it, it's just like, yeah, we found a mermaid. Yeah. We found a mermaid. We've determined that mermaids are real.
Yeah, there's like this whole like it feels like an episode of Ancient Aliens where there's people who like are being presented as if actual experts on aquatic ape theory, and like I was like, oh, I'd never heard this conspiracy theory before. I didn't know this was like a real thing people thought of, and it turns out no, it wasn't, because it was all fake. It was completely everything was scripted and fictionalized.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Mandy, I have, now that we've done a year of Stitches in Time, I have some stats for you.
Oh.
So we've covered about 13.8 billion years, which we knew.
I mean, 13.8 billion years in 1 year. We're making great time.
We're doing really well.
If we do that, like we're gonna blast through this in like a year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have watched 10 hours and 5 minutes of the Stitches in Time edit.
Yeah, and that's like most of it, right? I mean, if we've done 13.8 billion years and that's 10 hours, like, okay, so that's just a few more hours. We got this.
Yeah.
We got to figure out what we're going to do once we run out of Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're just gonna talk about teeth more. I don't know. Yeah, we are just over 2% of the way through Stitches in Time.
Oh.
And of course,
but
that's not including any of the footage from season 2 that I'm gonna be editing in soon.
we're 2%,
Yeah.
and that's 13.8 billion years.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that. Mm, uh, mm, they'll go faster, right? Other
Yeah,
ones will go
sure.
faster.
It'll definitely speed up and not slow down even a little bit.
It'll go fast. I'll be free soon, right?
Never. I do.
It's a good thing you're showing yourself in a Egyptian tomb, because you're locked in here forever until someone breaks the wall.
Oh,
That's true. I do have a fan message from Blue Sky. Tronella posted like 6 months ago, because I am really bad at keeping up to date with reading some of these out, but I have been cataloging them with the intention of reading them. I'm still catching up, but I'm really loving the Stitches in Time podcast. What my life needed right now was definitely a way to make rewatching all of Doctor Who take even longer. So thank you, Tronella. And yeah, Riley, where can people find you online? Where can people read and or listen to Dark Watchers of California?
You can find me on the aforementioned Blue Sky as rileysilverman.bski.social. Also Instagram, same thing. And, as mentioned many times on this show, there's a podcast called Good Chaotic that I am on. You can listen to that. And as far as Dark Watchers California, it's only available in audio form. It is available through Big Finish Productions. You have to buy the box set of, I don't know if they're selling them individual episodes or not, but I do recommend the box set because there's some pretty good fun stories from the other writers as well, including one by Ben Teds, which is called When I Say Run, and it's a story that's written in second person. Like, it's a great episode to listen to while you're out for a run or a walk yourself, because the idea is like you're being told the story is happening while you're running around, and you're encountering an alien in the 10th Doctor. So that's very interesting. But yeah, there's also one by Paul Booth, who is a friend of mine, from a regular at Gallifrey, who runs the TARDIS Talks at Gallifrey, and so recommend. Anyway, I'm rambling now, but yeah, Tales from the Vortex. It's this year's batch of. I think it's volume 13 of the short trips, and pick it up, buy it, listen to it, enjoy it. Let me know what you think, and also if you do it, maybe I'll get to do more. So that would be fantastic.
Hey, I would love it if you got to do more, because you're good at writing.
Oh, thanks.
And listeners, I hope you join us next week when we're going to be talking about Meanwhile in the TARDIS, Part 1, and just like 30-something seconds of it. Anyway.
Just a little, that's what this show needed, was a little meanwhile.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Stitches in Time. Music by Becca, the Matrix Archivist. Art by Mandy Oquendo. Logo by Ben Paddon. Find us on the web at www.stitchesintie.me. Stitches in Time, but with a dot in the middle of the word time.
If you're happy and you know it, and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Was that
Great?
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nailed it.
I thought you were going to be like, you're not supposed to sing the last part.
That is always the awkwardest, because we don't need to, but it's weird if we don't.
Yeah.
Like, I had that, I've been asking to go first on it, because previously Becca would go first. And the problem with the way that the song is that you have to then do like the next note. And I don't know anything about music. And it gives me a lot of anxiety that when Becca sings something, it's like, well, now I have to go the proper amount up. And I know Becca knows the proper amount up. I don't know the proper amount up.
Well, I think it's just a matter of knowing how the song goes.
It's kind of like when you watch a like British TV show where they would use "He's a Jolly Good Fellow" instead of "Happy Birthday" because they didn't have the rights to "Happy Birthday," and it actually made me think for a long time that in the UK they just sing "He's a Jolly Good Fellow" to people for their birthday instead of "Happy Birthday," and I was
Same.
like, "This is a weird cultural thing that I don't understand." But it turned out it was just a TV rights thing.
I will return when the sun is above us.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make you do like I'm not the kind of comic that would hand people a paragraph to read before they bring me on stage. Like,
Fair. I appreciate that about you.
thank you. I'm not a comic at all anymore, but back in the day.
I mean, I still think you're really funny, so. So therefore, you have to identify as a comic.
I do often think and talk in bubbles. So.
No, Doctor, if your machine would blend in with its surroundings, people wouldn't be able to find it, and we wouldn't have all this trouble. Yes, like your machine, I suppose.
Yeah, it's not quite Madam Web levels of ADRing the story into place, but it's not far off from that either, which is very funny.
Madam Web that ADR was hilarious.
And
I only watched that movie super fucking high, but it was just like,
oh yeah, it's no way to watch it.
This is the worst thing.
I watched it with other past guests of this show. I watched it with Ben, Michael, and Dan, and we all got fried and we ate chicken nuggies and we watched it, and it was a delightful way to enjoy that film.
Amazing. I think the best way I can describe Madam Web to fans of this podcast is that it's only slightly better than Amelia Perez. That's how bad it is.
We did a double feature of Madam Web and Argyle, and there was like a real debate ahead of time of like, should we watch Madam Web first or Argyle first? And I was like, we have to watch Madam Web first, because if we watch Argyle first and then we try to follow it up with Madam Web, we're gonna have the most miserable 2 hours. Because like Argyle's also not a good movie, but it has some ridiculously over the top action scenes that I was like, those are actually fun to watch. And so if we go from the joy of that to Madam Web, it's going to be a real rough come down. Like,
interesting.
We can't be certain. Although the time-traveling monk has not yet contacted us, we don't know what difficulties he's had to face.
Daleks have no form of subtlety. This is obvious.
You are superior in only one respect. What is that? You are better at dying. So good.
So good.
Sorry, Mandy, are your headphones okay? Did we just blow them out by you shouting at you?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I had a cat that really wanted to be on a podcast.
No.
Ah. Which one?
Jester.
Could he sense that his best friend Becca was like on a podcast?
The only woman he's ever loved.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Prisoners escaped.
Escaped? We left the 2 men sealed.
We must take them in and go.
No, the war machines would destroy us all.
Riley's here for all of our human beings episodes.
A relative human expert. She spent time around humans. She's the Jane Goodall of humans. Even Mother Nature needs a Time Lord. Deep cut for one of the weirdest billboards that exists.
Wait, what is that?
Yeah, you know those billboards that are like, there's like a famous person and it'll be like a weird quote about them and it's like, pass it on. It's like positive thinking. Like,
oh,
it's like,
yeah.
But the one for Jane Goodall is even Mother Nature needs an agent, and I don't understand it or like what that means. Like, also, I don't know if like I would ever like, oh, Jane Goodall, famously Mother Nature's agent. Like, I don't understand what that means. Like, she's not like booking. Like, I don't know what she's. It's the whole thing. It's so there was those things. Those billboards, 9 out of 10 of them drive me crazy because they make no sense whatsoever. And I've never actually gone to passiton.org, so maybe it's like I don't know what the organization is for, what their goal is, but it's yeah. There's one that's like on Burbank Boulevard that's like climbed Everest blind, and then it's like vision. I'm like, wait, that seems like a shitty thing to compare. Like the whole thing is this guy did it blind, and you're like, but it's like he had a vision. It's like that feels ableist in a weird way. It doesn't feel like you're supporting him. It feels like you're.
The doctor, he's transformed my TARDIS.
There is one of the time travelers. Stop his escape.
It's funny because like I had a dream probably like 3 weeks ago that I was watching a Doctor Who episode sometimes I have dreams that I'm like watching Doctor Who episodes that like I think I secretly want to like write if I become a showrunner or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had this dream about basically this arc in which the Ronnie is trying to pull some time travel shenanigans in order to like save Gallifrey from like the Master destroying it.
Mm-hmm.
But like in doing so kind of creates all of this like time bullshit. And I was like, that would be a cool like season arc for a season. And now I'm like, is this just this season? Did I just write this season?
That's funny. I like the number of people that are like, see, we called it, it's the Ronnie. I'm like, yeah, but you think it's the Ronnie every time it's a woman. So like, just because your stop clock finally hit midnight doesn't mean that actually like you were a genius for predicting it. Like, like, yeah, we all thought it might be the Ronnie when she had a white outfit on. Like, that's fine. But like...
I thought Carol Ann Ford was gonna turn out to be the Ronnie. No,
I'm still wondering if they're gonna have it be that like Belinda is actually like a regenerated Susan or something like that.
But... Oh my gosh, I feel like we're gonna see Carol Ann Ford because I can't imagine they brought her all the way back just to appear in like
for a dream sequence.
Oh no, I think we'll definitely see her. I just wonder if she would regenerate into Belinda and like.
Ooh, interesting.
Because there's been a couple moments of like Belinda knew what a TARDIS was without being told, and like there was like a line in the second episode of like let's go home, and like they meant like Gallifrey, but like his home. But I don't know if that's like really a thing or if people picked up on it and commented on it and then made me go, oh, is that what's happening? Like, yeah, so.
Man, like this is the most Susan we've ever gotten is with Shooty. Well,
yeah,
aside from with William Hartnell,
and the 5 Doctors, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
And with obviously with Mandy on our podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. That's a clear shout out to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's not evil, so
I don't know that yet.
It's really a missed opportunity.